You're listening to the very 25th episode of the Celtic Crack Podcast.
Yeah, we're back. I can see the look of pride on your face every time that gets played. He's admiring his own handiwork over there. He's like, yeah, that sounds good.
Like a builder who built a building and then walks past it every day.
I have it as my ringtone, man.
Yeah, not bad. Mikey, will you just turn up the headphones a tiny little bit there? I can't hear nothing now. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Well, 1, 2.
1, 2.
2. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, you're just going to get a bit of a hiss. But yeah, we're back. Like, we missed the last 2 weeks again, didn't we?
3, is it?
Jesus.
Consistency is key.
It is, yeah.
Consistency is key here.
It's a disaster, like, with this kind of setup, like, where you're trying to fucking get this many people together. It doesn't always work out, you know?
Yeah.
Just fucking for people who think like that we're being like, we might do one this week, we might do one that week, like being kind of flippant about it. Like, I never want to miss an episode, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. If I can do it, I would be here like 100%. Some weeks you just can't get people together and all, do you know? It's a bit of a disaster at times.
Would you say somebody is to blame?
Yeah, there's always someone to blame. I'm just saying, it's not me anyway, it's not Mikey, and it's not Russell. So we're kind of always up for it, like, but
I'm always up for anything.
See, as I'm the odd one out here, so does that mean it's fucking saddled directly on me?
No, not Dave either.
We wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for you, Dave.
And it's not not Walsh's fault, and it's not Shane's fault. We named everyone that's been on except one person. See if you can figure out who it is. Yeah, Shane as well, in case anyone's wondering why Shane hasn't been on. Shane's in Australia now.
Yeah.
He's down at the bottom of the world. I don't know how he hasn't fell off. Upside down there, apparently.
Did we ever find out how them fucking lunatics are getting on?
I was just going to say the flat earthy hook.
Yeah.
I meant to go back to that. I thought they were going to the edge.
I looked up on his tweets there, it must have been about 3 or 4 weeks ago, to see what the story was, but there was very little on his Twitter account, like.
Yeah.
Very little altogether. So I don't know what he is, or I don't know, has he fallen off?
Probably no, just raised a few quid and then disappeared.
He thinks it's not the end of the world at all, man. He went to the end of the strip in Vegas.
Yeah, I actually saw that was one story that I saw there recently as well about this these lads that were caught by the bollocks over in America. There was a woman who posted a story about how she got stranded in the middle of nowhere at night. She ran out of petrol. Did you see that? And a homeless man came up and he was like, "Stay in the car, you. It's not safe. I'll go to the petrol station if you don't worry about it." And this poor homeless man walked miles or whatever, 5 miles or something, to the nearest petrol station, used his own last $20 to get her petrol, came back and insisted on putting it in for her and said, "Look, have a nice night, just get home safely." She posted his picture and everything online and said, like, what a great man, like, there's still some nice people out there. Next thing, a GoFundMe started. People raised something like 300 and something thousand for this homeless fella. Turned out they got caught out. The whole thing was set up. It was all bullshit. Like, never happened. They set it up. They conspired, like, at the start that they were going to make this money and split it or whatever. What? So they got caught. And your one is after being charged with, I forget the correct term, but some form of like petty theft or something like that. But I think she's after getting a few years in prison or something for it. Yeah, because she basically stole 300 and something thousand from people. Like, do you know? I forget the exact.
Under deceit and
it is something. There's some. I forget the exact charge now that was brought against her, but yeah, she got stung. Yeah, fucking hell. So you have to be careful with them.
You have to give them 10 out of 10 for enterprise, though.
Yeah.
Maximum.
Trying to be entrepreneurs over here, like.
Exactly.
It's not easy to start a business these days.
They went to the drawing board. They came up with it. They played it out, so I think they deserve the money for being clever.
It's bollocks, though. I hate to see shit like that happening, though, because I have seen a lot of times there in the past where people have raised money for people that really deserved it, and you go, that's brilliant. But now, shit like that is going to stop people from giving money. Next time you see something like that, you'll be like, maybe this never happened, and they're just trying to fleece me for money.
Yeah, but then you'd have the people then who are going to say, well, he's a homeless man. Is 320,000 enough to be our... too much to be given him? Is it self-inflicted why he's homeless and has he got problems?
Still,
no, I'm not saying me. I'm just saying small-minded people would.
But obviously they gave it to him anyway. They got the money. Like, He was talking about buying a house or something and all this. He
right.
doesn't need to know. He has a place to stay.
3 square meters.
Fuck's sake, man.
Well, he wanted a permanent home. He got one, didn't he?
That would be classed as permanent, yeah.
There was
That's ridiculous, like.
I don't know if you came across it at all. There was a post on Facebook. One of the sheriff's departments or one of the county PDs or something like that in the States. They, you know, the way you'll get police agents or law enforcement agencies will put posts up on.
Oh yeah.
You know, to like identify someone, all this kind. So they put this thing up, basically saying they were looking for this guy, and he posted back to them.
Yeah.
I'll hand myself in tomorrow. I'll be there 2:30. All this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this whole conversation then started going between your man posting onto this police department's page, and he basically made it look like he was missing dates with him. Like, as in, you know, a fella would date a girl or whatever like that. Like, you know, sorry, I couldn't make it. I was this and that, the other thing. And he told him he was going to hand himself in at certain times. And we waited for you, but you didn't come in. And he was like, sorry, dear, and all this kind of shit. Fucking brilliant.
Trolling the bollocks out of him. That's gas.
I think he eventually did hand himself in, but yeah, it was very funny.
He had a bit of a crack before he did, like.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
Jeez,
right
yeah.
job.
You'd love to have the bollocks to do it, like.
Yeah. I saw another weird one there. I don't know if it was real or not. Did you see that fella getting arrested and then he started dancing when they were trying to hold him? Did you see that? No? There was like in America, they were bringing him to the squad car and they had him in handcuffed behind his back. And he started doing all this. Oh, and the police officers were like, kind of backed off. What are you doing? He started busting all these moves, then kicking his legs and jumping around the place. And they just stood back watching him and they were kind of laughing. And he was dancing. He went out around the squad car, dancing in the middle of the road. Then he came back and did like a spin and just jumped into the squad car. Like, what the fuck? People were like, yeah, he went out with a bang. I
think
or
half
whatever.
of that is set up.
Probably, yeah.
They asked the cops to do that so it can go what's
Viral.
that thing you young people talk about? Viral, is it?
Yeah. Spreads like a virus. That's how
Is
you
that
remember
what
it
it
in
is?
future. Viral.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking who watched Tyson Fury's fight last weekend? Anyone stay up to watch it?
I didn't stay up to watch it, but I watched it the following day.
Who won?
I would call that fight Furies.
Yeah, 100%. All day,
Based
every
on
day.
if you're to base it on pure boxing, I'd call it Furies. There was one judge, was it called it 113 all or 115 all, was it something like that? I don't know where the fuck he got that from.
Yeah.
And another fella didn't give the first 6 or 7 rounds to fucking Wilder.
Yeah, I saw the scorecards and I saw 4 rounds, I think, the first 4. And I heard Fury saying, alright, that it was the first 6, but yeah, I don't know. It was fucking insane, like.
Jeez,
That was like...
he fucking rose from the dead on the 12th.
Yeah, that man, I swear to God, like, I was like, I'm a fan of Tyson Fury. I was watching his whole comeback story was brilliant and everything, like, you know, and I was saying, like, even just to lose that amount of weight that he lost, like, that's a fucking serious task in itself.
Yeah.
Despite everything else, if you had no mental health issues, no fucking hard training to do, and you didn't have to try and fight for a belt or any of that, if you just had to lose 10 stone, like, that's a big thing, like.
Right. The period of time he did it in as well.
Yeah,
like, he did,
he
it in a
did
year,
that, like, came back, got to the highest level of boxing again, and fucking fought, and then I was cheering for him, like, in the 12th round. I was like, he has this in the bag. I was estimating it to be around 10 rounds to Fury in the 12th, like, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere he just got sparked out in his back. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what a sickener, man, for that story to end like this, you know?
Yeah.
What such a great comeback story. And then the 12th fucking round he had it now, like. So I was like, that's it now. And then all of a sudden,
the punch that fucking hit him, man.
Cracker.
The one that, oh my God,
In
man.
fairness, you have to
You
give
can see
Wilder
the-
credit for that as well, to hold that power for 12 rounds, like.
Yeah, that's insane.
And it's not like he was taking it handy for the first 11
Yeah.
rounds. He was swinging for the
Yeah, he
bleachers
was.
constantly.
Yeah, he was.
Most fellas that do that, their power gets seriously diminished by the time they get a few rounds in, like. Just swing themselves out. They just can't hold that kind of power. 12th fucking round, he still nearly took his head off with that shot, like.
Yeah, he did. It
was unreal.
That man, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of fucking power in them punches.
Yeah.
But he went over in the 9th, didn't he? But it was like a back of the head kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a weird little one. Like, Fury was
yeah, it was just kind of
ducked
like
down.
he kind of folded down.
Yeah,
and
you
then
could
he
see it was like he kind of rolled his ankle a little bit before he got hit and he kind of fell. It wasn't much anyway.
Did you finally come to the conclusion that boxing is fixed?
Oh, 100%,
It
yeah.
has
Like,
to
the
be.
fight itself wasn't fixed. Like, 2 boys were in there trying to kill each other. There was nothing draw.
But
But the judges,
sidelines,
they've always known that. Like, if
They're
that's
telling me
one of the main
promoters-
reasons why I don't watch boxing that much anymore. It's a fucking disaster. Like,
They're already talking about a rematch.
yeah, oh yeah,
You
it's
know?
already confirmed and everything. No,
Yeah.
they've ordered it. Like,
the WBC sanctioned
Yeah, there it is
direct
there,
rematch.
yeah.
and, yeah.
WBC sanctions rematch between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Sure, why wouldn't they? More millions from.
Yeah.
So, it's bollocks, though, man. To rob a man like that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
After all that he went through to get up there, and he fucking won the fight, and they just robbed him of it.
And I
He
think-
had one of the greatest comeback stories in sport and history, and they just robbed him of it
I
like
think
that.
no, he is even saying that by saying that the next purse he's going to donate. I
Yeah.
think he's saying
Oh,
like
was it? Yeah, but-
it's not about the money, the
Yeah.
rematch. It's like I deserve that. You know, do you get me? There's
Exactly,
something-
yeah.
But he can't actually come out and say it.
Say what, that it was fixed,
Yeah,
like?
that he got
he's more or
robbed.
less said it, like
Has
he
he
said
said
that,
it, has
yeah.
he?
But I tell you one thing, man, he handled it well. He handled that now like an absolute gentleman, because I would have snapped if they did that to me.
Did you hear his?
And he was just, he kept smiling.
Did you hear his post-fight interview? It was like a locker room thing.
Yeah.
He started going on about people with mental health issues and
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is for you and
Yeah.
I proved that you can get up and you
Exactly,
can get
yeah.
it done. And all
I
that
think it
kind of
was unbelievable how he fucking handled that decision, like, because
Yeah.
most people would have snapped, they would have been screaming at the judges and everything, and he just, I think for him, he knows himself that he won that fight, so he kind of set out to, or he accomplished what he set out to accomplish. Like, he made his way back, he won the fucking fight. He wasn't going to let the judges ruin it for him, like.
Go
So
back
he was
to
just happy
this
out.
mental health issues thing. Look, I don't know anything on it. I'm ignorant on him. I haven't even read anything or watched anything on him and all that. What is this about mental health issues?
Well, he said like that, like after he won, when he fought Klitschko for the title, he beat Klitschko, and Klitschko was considered the man to beat, like, and Tyson Fury for years wanted to fight him and he wanted to beat him, and he felt like that was his main goal. And he said after he beat him, he was like, now what? Do you know?
Yeah.
So he just went off the rails, like he started drinking, he ballooned up to like, was it over 300 pounds or something? He was massive, like he put on over 10 stone in weight, like, and just drinking, coked off his head every night of the week and just going mental, like.
So this is classed as mental health issues.
Yeah, well, he said,
well,
like,
yeah,
he
Him
said he
being a
was.
depression and
sensitive
stuff,
baby is being classed as mental health
Oh,
issues.
for
Is
fuck's
that what you
sake.
said?
No, I'm saying he says that he was depressed out of his mind and he felt like killing himself. He didn't give a fuck anymore. He was saying, like, I was a fellow who had it all. I was heavyweight champion of the world. I had loads of money. I had this and that, but I felt like shit, and I felt like I had no purpose in life anymore, and I wanted to kill myself. He was saying, like, so if that can happen to me in my position, then it can happen to anyone, like. So he said at one stage he felt like killing himself,
Not
but then
necessarily.
he pulled him out of it.
Not necessarily. You know,
Well, it
he
can
just
happen to
had no
anyone.
resilience built up in himself and everything. Everything was based on him being world champion. He thought his
Yeah.
whole life was going to be boxing and this is it. He put all his eggs into one basket. You see, clever people would have known, like, this ain't going to last forever. So when it does come to an end, I'll be ready, you know. They'll
Yeah.
make
But
sure
this is
they're
the thing, it
ready
didn't
to cope
even
with
come to an end at that
Didn't,
stage,
no,
like, do you know?
he still had like there would have been
he had
still-
just got there, like, it had just like started really. He was the champion, like, do you know? And like he still felt like shit, like, do you know what I mean? So either way, whatever way you want to look at it anyway, the whole mental health issues talk that's surrounding him is because of that. He said that he had it all and he was still depressed and still felt like killing himself and all that shit. And he said he wanted to just prove to people that, he said, like, first his goal was to beat Klitschko, and then when he did that he felt like he had no meaning in life, and now he feels like his goal is to prove to loads of people out there with mental health issues that you can come back, you can get up and fight and blah blah blah, you know. But man, when he got up in that 12th round, it would nearly make you believe in God, like. Yes, that's all he was talking about, was like when he was depressed, like that God
Do you know
God
what?
pulled him out of it now.
I do believe in our Lord, our
Of course you
Saviour.
do, yeah. Did you have a few moments to talk about him?
The Undertaker's gimmick in WWE seems a lot more realistic now.
The what?
The Undertaker's gimmick in WWE
Watch
seems a
that
lot more.
when he
He just,
rises.
where they just like he pretends to be sparked out, and then
Yeah.
he just gets up and stands up and stares at your man. What I thought was priceless about that was the look on Wilder's face.
Oh man.
The look at him, he just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he was dancing, and then it was like, did you see they made all the, like, the little memes of it, the videos? There was one where they added the Undertaker music when Fury got back up, but the other one, did you see the one where they added the voiceover from Snatch? Did you see that? Fucking Tyson Fury got sparked, and then your man Turkish, as it comes on, he's like, now all he has to fucking do is stay down. And then all of a sudden he jumps up, and you see Fury's face, or Wilder's face looking at him, and then Turkish goes, now we're fucked. It's brilliant.
Did you see what Finney Jones said when he was at the...
I haven't seen this many travellers in Snatch.
Is that what he said?
Jesus Christ.
He was in Snatch, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He was like the main guy in Snatch.
He was one of them. Yeah.
I get mixed up though between Snatch and Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels sometimes.
Well,
was he in the two of them?
He was Big
yeah.
Chris in Lock, Stock, and he was Bullet Tooth Tony.
Yeah.
Do I
Well,
call you
why
Bullet?
did
Do
I
I call you
call him-
Tooth? You can
Yeah.
call me Susan if it makes you happy.
Yeah. He drags your man down the road by the tie through the window of his car.
That's right, yeah.
All mallet.
Which, I don't know. I thought it was unreal anyway, man. That whole story, the way Tyson Fury just came back and made it back there and won that fight, was class. I loved it all. But the whole thing about donating the purse, like, wasn't that this fight? Like, this fight
It
just
was
gone.
this fight,
He
yeah, it
said
was
he
this
was
fight, yeah.
donating the money, not the next one.
I thought it was the rematch.
No, it was
No,
this
this
first
one.
one. He
8
said that he
million
was
quid.
donating his whole purse to the homeless and poor people or whatever. Interesting to see if he does.
To build homes for the homeless. That's what I seen the headline.
does
I
that,
didn't read
like,
into it.
That's a fucking serious
Well,
amount
fair
of
play
money.
to him.
And
You
like,
know.
I think, look, I have to be honest. I hear him chiming in with these little, the camera as he's driving the car down and he's giving his opinions and things like that. And I've always kind of found him, honestly, I've always found him a little bit annoying.
yeah.
Now, boxing aside, I was just talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it, as a character, like, I always found him very annoying, so I didn't really have too much interest in him. But the whole thing about, getting from 10 stone back down, or, losing the 10
Yeah.
stone and getting back to fight at that. I mean, Wilder is no fucking joke, like, and he outboxed him the
Massively.
entire match, like,
Massively.
it wasn't a case that he kind of caught him here and he caught him
Yeah.
there. He fucking outclassed the man the whole fight through.
The whole way, yeah.
And then to take it the way he took it after he'd clearly been fucking shafted, like,
Yeah.
it's kind of, it's done it. He brought him up in my estimation quite a bit now.
Big time. He gained a lot of fans, man, throughout that.
Yeah, yeah.
Throughout that whole build up to the fight and the way he handled himself afterwards and all. I would have been snapping in that ring, man.
And
I
then
would have
playing
went
the mental
like-
health card in. That gets you a lot more
Yeah,
as well.
that's the
this
thing,
day
man.
and
That's
age,
the
you
thing
know
with
what I
that
mean?
mental health thing these
Yeah.
days. Like, you don't know whether to trust people or not because there are a lot of
Yeah.
people jumping on that
Yeah.
bandwagon.
Like that young
and
fella.
it's a bit of a bollocks, like.
Did you watch X Factor this year?
No.
That young fella from Liverpool.
Yeah, your band that was fucking.
Oh, was
yeah,
he-
they threw
he
him off
was-
it a couple of years ago, didn't they? Because
Yeah,
he was wrecked.
turned him
out
off
of it.
last year or
He
something.
he admitted to being addicted to drugs or something that
no,
time,
I
wasn't
think
it?
he played the mental health card as well this year. Oh, he'd
Yeah,
been
but
through a lot, and-
that's why they threw him off the last time because he admitted that he was taking drugs or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So they threw him off. So he
Did he
probably
win
came
it?
back then and said, "I did that because of mental health."
Did he win it?
Don't
I
think
don't
so.
know. I think he got caught, didn't he? In a club last year or something. Taken.
just-
No,
Something
I'm talking
happened
about the
anyway.
X Factor this year.
Yeah, he played the mental health card.
But
Yeah,
did he
but-
win it?
No,
Did
he
win
came
it?
third.
Not did he win the mental health
He
card?
came third.
I have a full house of
He
mental
did
health
win
cards.
it in a way because he came third, didn't he? And he couldn't sing for fucking shite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I thought he was alright. He was a handy enough old
I
singer.
know. I'm going playing that card in everything in my life. Right, do you hear me? The word anxiety.
You can't do that.
He'll stop going into Icon now. But
Did
I
any of you
remember a few years ago. No.
Did any of you see the new South Park where Cartman was told he had anxiety because he was constantly
No.
on his phone, and the psychiatrist told him anxiety is just a word and it's created for people to be lame and lazy.
Oh, fuck's sake. So Park
Look,
don't pull no punches.
Anxiety is real. People do have it.
course.
Everyone has it. Some people do have severe anxiety, I will admit. But a lot of people are just jumping on the bandwagon just to be left
course.
alone so they won't be challenged or fucking held accountable
Yeah.
for anything they do, you know?
There is a lot of that, and then there is a lot of these people who have a big audience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're
that's-
just playing that card.
Yeah.
If I see one more of these fucking posts where it's like, I've decided to come out and talk about this.
Yeah.
Can't believe I'm even sharing this with you. And this phrase, my hands are shaking even as I'm typing this. Fuck you. I've heard that so many times. So many times.
If you
like.
have anxiety, the last thing you want is attention.
Yeah.
Because
I've-
you're afraid of your life of it.
I've decided
That's
now
real
to come out
anxiety.
and talk about my own battles with mental health.
I
See,
know.
like, it's so annoying because, like, fucking a lot of them are probably genuine and they're trying to do something nice and
Yeah.
it will have a positive impact. Apparently, like, I've been listening to fucking Blind Boys podcast recently and people have accused him of the same shit before. Oh, he's just jumping on the bandwagon, whatever. I don't know what he's doing. Don't know him. But the amount of people commenting under his podcast saying, like, you fucking helped me so much. He's explaining things like
Yeah.
cognitive behavioral therapy and how to fucking
He said
manage
he
anxiety
did the
and shit.
CBT, he said.
Yeah.
And he said before that, I read that part about him. He said if he went into a post office or a supermarket and got
Yeah.
anxiety in there, he'd associate the anxiety then with
Yeah,
them
with those
places,
places, yeah.
and he wouldn't be able to go back to
Yeah,
them.
that's
But
what
he said
happens,
the
man.
CBT then helped him to overcome that.
Yeah, just identify these fucked up patterns
Yeah.
in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
It's
It happens.
thinking.
It can happen to a lot of people.
It's
like
your
easily.
cognitive thinking.
Man,
that
I
makes you
had
think
some
that way.
weird shit happen to me before where I think I got a panic attack or something like that twice, and I can't explain it. It was no, I'm not one bit So I don't have any anxiety or any of that shit.
No,
If I'm any more laid back, I'll slip into a coma. Like,
Only when he opens his wallet.
but no, you know what happened to me, and this is completely stupid. This isn't like, I had a mental health experience. There's none of that. Like, this is just pure random as fuck. Twice I remember it happening to me, where I was walking along and I was remembering something that happened before, you know. So I was like, oh yeah, and I was there, and then this happened, and then all of a sudden I realised that never happened, and I was like, was that a dream? And then I just got confused, and my heart started banging in my chest to the point where I could barely breathe. Like, happened to me one day in my brother's kitchen, and he was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, I can't breathe. And then like how does that make any sense? Like,
but you didn't feed into it. You didn't analyse it. You just.
I just said to myself, I just remembered a dream or something. I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
But why? I don't know why. Like, my chest started banging like that. Like, made no sense at all. You know. So like that'll just give an example of how something stupid can happen in your head and freak you out. Like, there's millions of examples like that.
I will admit, a lot of them. I got a few of them back in the day, but they were self-inflicted.
Yeah, I don't
and
know what the fuck
as soon as I
that was.
cut certain things out of my life, that was it.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
fucking education,
sense,
man.
You know?
That I can agree with, or I can relate to, should I say? Because after I cut a certain thing out of my life as well, man, the fucking dreams I started getting, man, when the mind starts kind of coming back into its own, and
when did that happen?
He said it's coming back. Give him a chance.
But yeah, man, for the first maybe 3 or 4 months, talking about like, I mean, dreams that are so real, man, that you wake up fully convinced that what you had dreamt had actually happened. Like, they're so fucking lucid. Like,
yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
yeah, oh Christ, it's insane.
And you wake up then thinking, did that really happen? Yeah. And the worst thing about it is, like, you're not really asleep. I don't think you're really asleep. Weren't you talking about that a few weeks ago, that you're not really asleep, you're just... Well,
it depends on the type of dream. Now, there's sleep paralysis as well, where they say that you're kind of half awake. Like, I've had that a few times now. That's fucking terrifying, man.
And
sleep,
that's what you had, Dave. That's what it is.
I know, I'd say he's talking about really vivid dreams where you wake up and you're fully sure that it happened. Everyone has that.
I don't even think you're actually asleep. I believe
you might not be. You might be kind of...
Still a bit.
Halfway. But that fucking sleep paralysis shit, man, happened to me a few times in the past. It's one of the most terrifying things that you'll ever experience. Like, so weird. I think, like, with one of the most common fucking reasons for it happening is a fucked up sleeping pattern. So I don't know why it happens to me, like, because I'm in bed at 9 every night, up at 8 every morning. Yeah, I've the worst sleeping pattern in the world. So obviously it's going to happen to me at some stage. Jude got it very bad as well a few times. I've often, like, I remember we were staying in the hostel, like, Jude was freaking out in his sleep, like, do you know? Sleep paralysis. It happens to loads of people.
Sure. Like. you were sleeping across from
me. Just because I was standing over with my hand on my jock. So what the
fuck? Jude waking up in a cold sweat that wasn't his own.
The way it happens for me usually is like I wake up. I'm lying in bed and I wake up and I'm staring at the ceiling and then I can't move, and I just cannot move. I'm looking around. I can move my eyes and then I try to say something and I can't talk. So I try my best to scream. In my head, I'm screaming as loud as I can and it will not, no sound will come out of my mouth. So frustrating. And one night, my missus was asleep beside me. All of a sudden, she just sat up and sat there. And I was like looking at her, trying to scream and say like, I can't move. And then she turned her head slowly and looked at me. And her face was ghost-like. You know, it was kind of like see-through. And then her hair started all waving around. And she just started like sneering into my face, smirking at me. I was there going like, fucking bitch, I'm here and I can't move and she won't even help me, do you know? And I flopped out of the bed. I dragged myself out of the room. I can remember being out in the hallway to the apartment I was living in at the time. I reached up and I opened the bathroom door for some reason, dragged myself into the bathroom. And then I just remember waking up after that and going, what the fuck was I doing out in the bathroom a while ago? And I started kind of remembering it backwards. Then I got back to the start where her face was a ghost and I was like, all right, that didn't really fucking happen. So it's so strange, so confusing, man. And it's terrifying, like.
Maybe it was. Probably used to give you the date rape.
Probably, yeah. Roofing myself. No, he can't.
He wants to make himself easy as possible, so he take it himself.
Yeah, but the mind, man, is a mad, complex thing.
But that's why you have to watch it. You have to mind it.
Exactly, yeah. You have to I think, man, it has to start early, like, do you know what I mean? People develop these stupid thinking patterns throughout their life. You have to fucking start with that shit early, you know.
Exactly.
No one explains this stuff to you when you're a child. Like they should be
that's-
teaching it in schools. You're learning about a lot of nonsense that we don't need in schools.
But they are.
They're supposed to be
My
introducing it.
nephew was telling me there a few weeks ago that they play this game where they all jump in a circle and have to name how they feel, and
Yeah.
you know, I forget. He told me the name of it
Like
now a few
mindfulness
times.
classes they're doing,
exactly. But they're getting in to recognise their feelings and what they are and get to know them, so they're emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
To where we weren't emotionally intelligent because the only thing we were allowed to do was anger or whatever. Like, you know, we weren't allowed to be emotional.
No
But
one
today
tells
they
you
are.
that shit when you're young, man.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
for whatever reason, when I was young, I became obsessed with it. Like, I became obsessed with my mind and how it works, and I just analysed the fuck out of myself for years. There's a few reasons for it. Like, one of them was my temper, because I was like pure little hothead, like when I was younger, snapping over things, and just usually, mostly now, if it was someone like my mother or something giving out, the temper, man, was just uncontrollable. Like, and even like you've probably been there a few times when someone might have started on me, or it was way bigger than me or something, and I was like, I'll kill him, you know, this kind of thing. And in the back of my head, I'm there going, look at the size of him, he's going to murder you, stop. Do you know what I mean? But like, you can't stop. So I was like, I need to fucking sort this out. Why am I snapping? Why am I so angry about this? And you know, I just really started to take a look at myself. Like, so that led me down a whole path in of sussing out how my mind works and why I react certain ways to certain things, and it helps you out an
That's
awful
what
lot.
it
Like,
is.
a lot of people don't spend time figuring that shit out. Like,
and that's what you hit the nail on the head. Reaction.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
That's
about-
that's
that's
how I
what it's all
started.
about,
That's how I
reactions.
started
Yeah.
studying my reactions to everything. Why did I react like that now? If someone called me a name or something, I freak out and it bothers me for a day or two or something. And they're like, why am I doing that? Like, do you know, I don't even know that person or whatever. Like, these days I couldn't care
That's
less.
called giving your power to people.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and they're at home not even thinking of you. And
Exactly.
You're at home, then
That's
you're
you
there
know
back
something,
cunt,
man.
you know what
That's
I mean?
that's the fucking phrase that really stuck in my head that
Yeah.
my mother used to always say to me. If I was saying like, oh, that fool now inside school today annoyed me, he annoyed me, I hate him and all this, like, or whatever it was when I was a child. And she'd be like, listen, you're at home now. There's better things you could be doing than, you know, worrying about him. And then she'd say to me always, do you think he's at home now worried about you?
Yeah.
And then I'd feel like a fool then for wasting so much time on that nonsense, and I'd just get on with my day.
Exactly.
I always use that phrase. You think they're at home now worried about you? If it's someone in work or something, you're bringing that shit home after work, and you're like, oh, what's his name at work? No, drive me mad, blah, blah, blah. He's at home then enjoying himself while you're at home snapping.
Do you want to know the biggest sin in this town or in this world is doing other people's thinking for
Oh,
them?
yeah.
You know, that's when you're not going anywhere in life.
Yeah.
When you're at home worried about what other people is thinking about you or what they're thinking about a certain situation.
And in most cases, it's all shit that you're making up in your head. They're not thinking about you at all.
Of course,
You know?
they're getting on with their own lives.
The amount of times I've had fake arguments on the way to someone's house or something.
Yeah.
Like, when I go there and I'm going to say this, and then he'll probably say this to me, and then I'm going to say that, and then if he says this, then this is what I'm going to say. And then you get there, and none of that happens. Like, you're like, fucking hell, had myself stressed out to the max on the way over here. Like, I was ready for war.
It's like even an interview or an exam or whatever. You have it all, the prep work done, and you're there. I'm going to say this. I'm going to write this. I'm going to do this. And then you
typical. Then it's a young girl, and she's just like, "You got the job." Always happens. Like,
is that what it is?
like, yeah.
No, but you don't end up doing what you planned out in your head.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Never
like
end
you're
up.
all, like, people are deadly for making up these scenarios in their head, like, and fucking obsessing about them. And
Speaking of shit that people are getting obsessed with, and people are fucking whatever they're seeing in their own minds, what the fuck is going on with Fairy Tale New York and Baby It's Cold Outside? What's triggering in those people?
I'll tell you.
I need to find that out. Is it fucking
just
chemtrails or
just
what
before
the fuck
you
is
go
it?
into it, right? This is what I have written down here from what I've seen today or in the last week that people are calling to be banned, right? So phrases like "bring home the bacon," they want banned.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
calling
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
And
Put
people,
men under
I've seen
pressure.
people now as well. No, I've seen people saying like, "Oh, in case it offends Muslims." That's not what it fucking was at all. It was just because they hear bacon, they tried to link it to Islam, like, but it's not. It was bring home the bacon and kill two birds with the one stone. Anything that's got to do with hurting an animal, they're calling it speciesism. Keep that out of your vocabulary. Instead of saying bring home the bacon, they now want you to say bring home the bagels. Instead of saying take the bull, instead of take the bull by the horns, take the flower by the thorns. I swear to God, this is what they want you to
Jesus
say.
Christ,
What about the poor flower?
Yeah.
But anyway, they want all this shit banned. Then Baby It's Cold Outside, they want that song banned off the radio.
Fucking hell.
The Amsterdam sign in Amsterdam, they want it removed because it's bringing a whole negative side to things people are they don't want tourists coming over there basically anyway, so they want that banned as well. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, the fairy tale in New York, the word faggot, they want it taken out or changed or whatever.
But like,
Right.
they want bring home the bagel. This is one thing I have to ask. Isn't that an offensive word to the Jewish community in America? They call them bagel eaters.
Is it?
Yeah, so, you know, so they haven't done their
Bring home
research
the
properly.
bagels. Cheek of them. Well, what if like you bring
Right.
home a bagel and it has gluten in it and your snowflake friend is allergic to gluten intolerant. Look, I'll kill someone bringing home a bagel. Think of these things through, for God's sake.
Look, lads,
So
I do agree that certain words can be offensive and hurt people and keep people down and all that. But
Man,
this
I
is
can
just
probably
too
think
far.
of one. I could probably think of one word that's that bad. Like all the rest of them can fuck off if they're being bitches.
Well, I know
as
the
far
words
as
you're
I'm
on
concerned.
about.
Yeah, the
But there is a
N-word.
few, like, you know, there is
The
a few.
N word, like we're not even allowed to say it. That's how bad that word is. Like, you know
I'm
what I mean?
gonna go,
That's the only word in the world.
narcissist.
Yeah, those naggers. Do you remember that? South Park.
I was in a
People who nag you.
cubicle in college there a few weeks ago, and someone had wrote down that word, and very offensive. Like, I went down, told the caretaker, it was wrong. Like, you know, you're in a college where at least a third of the population out there is that colour. Like, you know, so
Fuck's sake.
it's sad.
And what did I say? Like just that word?
No, but
Or
out.
out,
I'm not going to
not
repeat
it.
it, man.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to repeat it.
Fuck's
like, you
sake, in
know.
a college, like.
Yeah. Small-minded people, it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
matter
ridiculous,
where you
man.
are.
It's one of the most stupid things in the world,
Yeah.
isn't it? The people who be racist about the colour of someone's skin, like there's even like there's 4 of us here. We're all different shades of colours, like
Yeah.
we're all white.
I remember reading a thing there before. It was saying it was from a black person basically saying that you're going to call me coloured.
Oh, yeah.
When you go out in the sun, you turn pink. When you go out in the cold, you turn blue. When you get
When you're
fucking something
embarrassed,
wrong with
you're
you,
red.
Yeah, you're red, and you know you go yellow when you get fucking kidney failure or something
Yeah,
like that. I
if
don't
you're
know.
sick, you go green.
Yeah, and you have the nerve to call me coloured.
I don't
And
know,
like,
man. It's-
I think, like even going back to we'll say fairy tale and all this kind of stuff, man. Most of this offence is being created in people's heads, man. And again, it goes back to a bandwagon. People are jumping onto this
Oh,
shit,
of
man,
course.
and they're making it so much worse than what it is. And like I was only talking to my missus about it. They're the people that are complaining about fairy tale, and
They're
you know,
faggots.
Yeah. They're,
But
they're probably going down the road in the car listening to it, like.
But according to my definition of the word faggot, that's a faggot. Do you know what I mean? They like I don't get that whole like calling it a homophobic slur and all this. It's a gay slur. But like, how does that work? So if they're saying like that the word faggot means gay, maybe back in the day to call someone a faggot was a bad thing because no one wanted to be called gay. Oh, that's a slur. If you remember when we were kids even, if you said to someone, you're gay, I'm fucking not, no. These days we take the piss out of it. We pretend we're gay and we'll joke. It's nothing. No one cares if you're gay anymore. So if the word faggot means gay, why is it so bad to call someone gay? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're kind of insinuating there that being gay is a big bad thing. Like you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say faggot because it means gay. I don't get that. Like.
There is a lot of stereotypes that are offensive.
But just before we go off it, the point I want to make, like, if I use the word faggot, I've said it on this before, it's basically like stop being a pussy, like they say in America. That'll be the next one. You won't be able to call someone a pussy no more either now.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, like stop being a little bitch, stop being awkward. It's usually if someone's been awkward or whinging or something like that, you're like, stop being a faggot. Do you know, nothing to do with gay people. I've never called a gay person a faggot.
Yeah, but now you have to sit down and talk to them and ask them, why are you being whingy? Are you okay?
See, they're not thought about this
probably-
shit
yeah,
from
they're
early
probably-
enough.
They probably fucking get offended by, you know, being asked why are you whingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
There's a lot of questions
It's-
now you're not allowed to ask as well. Like.
This is, man, it's gone
Because you're
fucking- it's
supposed
gone
to
beyond the
take-
joke,
Ridiculous.
like. I walked into a shop the other day, man, and they had gingerbread people.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
We talked about that on here
We
as well.
did, yeah.
Gingerbread persons, gluten-free ones as well.
Yeah, like, what the fuck, man? This shit needs to stop.
Yeah,
Like.
it does. Like this,
It's keyboard warriors.
an awful lot of it, man, is people who just have nothing better to do with their time. Clearly, like if you had something better to do, like I don't have time to be online doing that shit. I just don't have time for it. You know what I mean? Something as insignificant as that. If I'm gonna go out of my way to use the little time that I have every week, outside of work and everything, for a cause, it's gonna have to be something that actually fucking means something. You know, it's not gonna be this nonsense like see if I can get this person to ban this. That's what half of it is. They feel like they have a little mission in life then, and they all get together online and they're all confirming each other's bullshit ideas, and they think, yeah, we're all together and we're gonna bring this person
They're
down.
creating too many safe spaces.
Yeah.
Look,
they
these
are.
words are okay. It all depends on what context it's used
That's the
in.
thing as well. that
If I
annoys
call
me.
you a faggot, it's
Yeah.
not offensive for one reason. You're not one.
Yeah,
You know, but I'm not going to walk up to a genuine homosexual.
Also, I
and
know
call
what
him
you
it
mean
these
by it.
days,
Exactly,
you know,
that's what I mean. It's a different thing. Like that word, South Park did a whole episode about how the word faggot, like I know it's only South Park, but they do put across some clever shit, like about how the word faggot has changed definitions so many times since it came about, like, you know. And the biggest thing for me is like, you don't get to decide what I meant by what I said. Do you know what I mean? If I said to you, stop being a faggot, like, you know, especially when you know fucking well what I meant and you're trying to twist it to make me look bad. Like,
do you
it's
remember
so
that time
obvious,
you called me a faggot? I went home and I dressed up in women's clothes and everything because I believed it. You know, I really believed it. And that night when I went there and I took it up to Jaxie, I believed it. But that's what they're trying to say. Yeah, it's there retarded. Is certain words and stereotypes you could use, say like to disadvantaged people or whatever, that would keep them down.
Yeah.
But when it's being said in a different context, then it's different, you know. So
like, even I know a fella who's gay and he referred to himself as a faggot not too long ago. He was like, do you know, like growing up like as a faggot or whatever. And I was like, wow, is there a man who wouldn't call you a faggot? He was like, I'm gay, like I'm fucking, but he's not one bit like camp or you know anything like that. He doesn't act like a faggot. Do you know what I mean? As in he's not like a little bitch, like that kind of way, moaning and blah blah blah. He's just pure one of the lads. I was like, I wouldn't describe you as a faggot.
Straight guys act
just
more
like,
of a faggot these days.
But in his head it was like, because I'm gay, I'm automatically a faggot. I don't agree with that, like, do you know what I mean? No. It's weird, like. Yeah, there's too many people out there that are deciding what people mean by what they say. You can't do that.
No. Did you ever notice, right? And this is only something I twigged lately, or that I kind of only really started thinking about was, remember a few years ago on the radio, and I'm talking like about maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago on the radio.
Jesus.
That the word faggot in that song was muted out.
Yeah, but that's
and now it's getting airtime. And it's only been over the past maybe 8 or 10 years.
Yeah. Do they let that word in daytime radio? Yeah.
It's on in daytime
different
radio,
times, you see. Jesus. 20 years ago, it would have been on the radio in the daytime, so they would have cut it out.
But it's still on the radio.
Kids. Yeah, but today, people, you know, times have changed.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you know, if it was, you know, if it was bad enough 20 years ago to get kind of, you know, cut out of the song in the middle of daytime radio play, why is it now in? And how are so many people getting offended by it?
Exactly.
Now? Do you not see what it is?
That's what I was saying there, because back then there was a big negative connotation around being gay.
Well, this is
no one wanted to be called gay.
But what was it? It was institutional thinking. Church. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the church is gone. So all this way of thinking is still coming back, censored on what's being said. Like the church had movies and all banned out of Ireland back in the day. The Life of Brian.
Yeah.
The Passion of St. Tibullus.
Yeah. Down with this sort of thing. But what was the other one? The Martin Scorsese movie, The Last Temptation of Christ. That was banned in Ireland. Yeah. You know, because that's what's happening. They're saying, oh, this is offensive. But that's the same thing.
A lot of this. Sorry.
Was Tootsie banned as well for a while? Remember Dustin Hoffman was in it. He was a cross-dresser,
Mikey.
I think he was.
Probably. If you go onto the internet, you can see all the top movies that was banned in Ireland.
That's the thing. There was an awful lot of shame around all those things back then. If you were gay or if you were fucking transvestite or whatever, you know. Like nowadays, no one gives a flying fuck. It's so weird. Like I had someone fucking come out to me as gay and they were all nervous about it. I was like, I couldn't give a flying fuck. Yeah. And he even said to me like, I hope I didn't piss you off. I was like, why did I fuck? Would I be pissed off about that? Like, do you know what I mean? It changes nothing.
No one really
no
cares.
No one cares.
Like, unless you're of like a really kind of ancient fucking mindset.
Yeah.
Which some people still are. You know, it has to be said.
Yeah,
some
but
people
do you
still
respect their opinion and belief?
Well, yeah, but sure. Look, if that, you know, if a 60 or a 70-year-old man can't fathom why two women might live together or two men might live together, you know, that's his bag. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the way he was brought up. That was the society that raised him,
but
and he doesn't know how to. You know, he doesn't know how to fucking think any other way.
Yeah.
But anything after that, you know, I don't give a bollocks.
Exactly. See that point Dave made there. 60, 70-year-old man.
Different generation.
They want a 60, 70-year-old man to rewire his brain.
Yeah.
You know, why should he?
But by the same account, do you think that same 60 or 70-year-old man is going to give a fuck about the word faggot in the song?
I know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, but like anyone, look, free speech and all that, I'm big on that.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not big on just walking down the road and gay bashing or calling.
Of course.
But, you know, that is wrong.
The worst part of it is, man, is it's part of a heavy metal thing. There's a song called Free Speech for the Dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they say you have free speech, but the way they're going on with all these things, you don't.
It's ridiculous. Like, it's just there's too many people out there with nothing better to be doing, and they're just seeing what they can get away with and seeing. But like, where's all this headed? Like, do you know what I mean? The way they're raising kids these days is so ridiculous. Like,
It's
the
fucked
shit
up,
you
man.
hear, like, you're not allowed to use this word now, and you can't say this to this person because they'll get offended.
Yeah.
And don't go out playing in the snow was one there recently. Don't touch the snow because the snow is dirty. There's bacteria and that now, and you could catch something. And they don't even want kids out playing, like, you know. And a lot of parents now are fucking sticking their kids in front of iPads and fucking Xboxes all day, like, because they don't want anything to happen to them.
How
You
old-
can't do that either.
We're all roughly about the same age. How
Yeah.
old were you when you first saw Brendan O'Carroll stand up?
Ah,
About
fucking
10.
less definitely.
10, 11?
Oh, it was
Less.
less, man.
Less than that,
I'd say
wouldn't
I
it,
was
Joe?
about 7 or
How's-
8
how's your wobbly
that I
bits?
can
Yeah.
remember, yeah.
Or live at the Tivoli?
How's your Jolly Rogers?
Thought it was very
and all
funny.
that, yeah.
Man, where I grew up
Fucking
now,
hilarious, like.
Yeah.
think about where I grew up, like, I had seen it all by the time I was 10, like.
Yeah, but that's
All of
that's
it,
my,
like,
that's my point
I'd seen,
exactly, like, you know?
exactly, yeah. Like, sheltering people from all of this stuff and pretending that bad things don't happen in the world.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
not
what's
doing
causing
anyone.
most of this,
Yeah,
man.
that's not doing anyone any
That's-
favors, like.
That's where the mental health and the anxieties come out.
But
of.
like they were saying about, like, they're trying to get rid of all the bullies and all this, Joe, and you can't be a bully, and trying to put everyone in their own little safe space and protect them from all this. Like, it doesn't happen. Like this shit doesn't happen. And then someone like Donald Trump turns up and no one knows what the fuck to do about him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, like,
But, you know,
back in the day, like, if there was someone that was that obnoxious and people didn't like him, they would have done something
But
about
the,
it.
funny,
But they're all
the
soft now.
irony
You can't
is,
say that.
the irony in it all then is they're being bullies, trying to stamp their opinion
just
down.
That is it, yeah,
By
yeah.
its very definition, a collection of people trying to enforce their opinion on everyone else
Yeah.
is a fucking what's it, lynching by its fucking by its own definition. Like,
Yeah, it's all
It's
this, like,
fucked.
you can't say that because if you do, then you're this. Do you know, you can't say that, or you're because you're racist. If you don't agree with this, you're homophobic.
Yeah.
You
If
can't
don't
call
agree
someone-
with
you
that,
can't call
you're
someone a faggot,
transphobic,
otherwise you're gay.
Blah blah blah. Like, you ever, like I was saying the last time, your man, oh, why did his name go out of my head? Ben Shapiro, isn't it?
yeah, he's brilliant, man.
Yeah, you see, it's like he just makes logical arguments with these people, and they nearly have a meltdown in
lose
front of
their
him.
shit, man,
They
they do, yeah.
can't believe he's saying these things, and
Did
he's
you
just
see-
like, he was talking to one girl, and she was talking about, like, why can't a woman say that she's a man or whatever? She can identify as a man
Yeah,
if she
yeah.
wants to. And he was like, okay. He was there like, can you identify as a moose? Then should I call you a moose? And he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
well, what about why don't you identify as being 65? And all this, and she was like, well, you can't. He was like,
Yeah.
why not?
It was brilliant,
You know,
wasn't
it's like, you're
Brilliant.
getting a bit ridiculous there
Did
with
you
this stuff.
see?
Like,
But
He's
coming back to
Yeah.
that, identifying as 65, I knew I had something to talk about.
Your man on
The
Tinder.
man who wanted to be... was he doing that like Randy in South Park? No, the sarcastic ball. Was he being sarcastic doing
no,
that?
he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Man. No,
I think he
thought-
was,
thought-
lads. I think he was being sarcastic.
No, he
I don't
thought
know.
he would it would help his job prospects, and it would help him on Tinder.
Yeah.
I don't
He
know.
wanted
I
to
think
be able
no,
to-
That was his logic.
He wanted to
No,
put it on dating websites that he was
Yeah.
only 40 something
because
or
he
whatever.
felt, no, he was 60, but he said he felt he was 30.
Yeah,
But I think,
identify as.
Like, that obviously cost him money to go to court and do that. Because he would
There he
have...
is
He
there.
lost.
Dutch
Yeah.
man,
He lost it,
69.
though.
Look,
That's what I'm saying. But
Listen.
I think he did that just pointing out the obvious.
Dutch man, 69, starts a legal fight to identify as 20 years younger. So he's actually fighting him about it or whatever. But, yeah.
But
I
is
dunno,
he
man.
serious?
It's getting ridiculous,
Well,
this whole...
deadly serious.
He's a positivity guru. That's what his fucking career is. So
Yeah.
Who
And he
knows?
positively wants to feel up a few.
All right there, Russell, yeah.
You're nearly after choking on that word. You can't even say it. You're so negative. You're nearly choked trying to say positively.
Yeah. No, because I found it
Jesus
funny.
Christ.
Because he wants to go off with a lot of 20-year-old women,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
That's it. That's exactly what it is. But you know what? If he gets away with that, imagine the amount of predators that's going to fucking open up a window for, man.
You see, he doesn't want the social stigma of it, of walking down the road with a 20-year-old and everyone saying, oh, look at him, an old man with a young one. He
Come
didn't
here,
want to
what
turn
fucking-
around and say,
what-
sure,
what-
I'm only 20.
Look, man.
He wanted to identify as 49. He's 69. He wanted to identify as 49, 20 years younger. He said.
That's fucking
So,
Jesus.
like, this whole I identify as well has gotten way out of control.
Yeah, it
like,
is.
you
Yeah.
see all these, like, hashtag wrong skin and all. Like me sitting here going, well, I know, like, I'm white and I'm Irish, but I actually identify as an African male. I'm black. Like, this is what people are doing out there. They're white people saying they identify as black or they identify as Asian.
Did
You
I
know what
not
I mean?
tell you I'm descended from Sitting Bull?
No.
I identify as Chief Indian.
Yeah. How?
Sure it's not shitting bull.
Because I can.
Yeah.
That's how.
That's it, man. There's people in as well, like saying that they're the wrong species, like that they were meant to be a lizard, and we talked about this before. And you're supposed to entertain that shit then.
Their mammies not hug them when they were younger.
Where's
is
the
that
line?
what it is?
Where's the line? I think, man, like I'd love to think that this whole way of thinking and this whole movement that's gone on with this PC bullshit and ban this, ban that. I'd love to think that it's going to come full circle and it's going to get to the stage where everyone just goes, right, that's enough now. Yeah. Fuck off with all your bullshit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they're going to set us back. Listen, we came a long way from the institutions, like I said, the Catholic Church. But all they're doing is setting us back. We're limited in what we can say, do, and it's still like we're being controlled by something.
Yeah.
Some of the YouTube community really went to town on all the social justice warriors.
I sexually identify as an attack helicopter.
Yeah, they started taking the piss out of all of these YouTubers.
I identify as a cannon shot.
Yeah, what's that? One shot and you're done.
Didn't think that one through.
Semi-automatic.
Fuse wasn't lit.
Boom. Huh?
Good for a laugh.
Where we get away from this PC shit before I get angry and talk about the fact that the Avengers new trailer got 289 million hits and it's only out 2 days.
I didn't even know there was a new one.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
Avengers Endgame. It's like part 2 to Infinity War. I don't know if you watched the movies.
I did, yeah. I love all that shit.
I love the fucking MCU.
Russell's not into the whole superhero style of that things at all.
I am a superhero.
289 million views. It's the most watched trailer in history.
Aquaman went fucking mad in the box office.
25 million, man.
They're going to do a sequel now, automatically straight away after that.
I did not think Aquaman was going to do good. I kind of don't have much interest
Jason
in him.
Momoa, though, man, he's he
good
makes
looking.
it. I've seen. Oh, stop it! Fucking
hey,
gorgeous.
it's a fine thing.
Oh,
Jason Momoa. He
fuck's
played Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones.
Oh right, yeah.
He's Aquaman.
He's like him there. He's like Pacific Islander type anyway, is he?
Didn't he get the Aquaman from Family Guy? No.
Huh?
No,
no, they take the piss out of him.
It's a DC comic, man.
It was like the one where they had Aquaman, they were taking the piss out of him on Family Guy, where there was a fella attacking a woman on the beach and he pops up out of the water and he's like, hey, let her go. And he's like, shut up, what are you going to do about it? Oh, you're lucky you're not doing that over here in the water where I am, because then I would stop you. And then eventually he throws a starfish at him and misses. Like, fuck's sake. He can't even come out of the water. But yeah, fucking Avengers. When is that out? I didn't even know that was
April.
I hate when they show you something and then it's not out till the next year or something.
I'm like that now with Game of Thrones at the moment.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that.
Fucking wait.
Shouldn't have reminded me.
Did you see the trailer? The teaser?
Apparently,
the wall of ice approaching the wall of fire. Did you see that?
Oh, no.
Apparently they're spending.
Watch that.
Apparently they're spending at least 15 million per episode.
Yeah, I saw some mad
They
thing about it.
they said that they in the biggest battle in TV hits. This is apparently going to eclipse Battle of the Bastards. Is going to it'll be on the 3rd episode of the 8 that are showing.
I heard something like that as well, that they're spending a massive amount on each episode, and each episode is going to be over an hour. Yeah, an hour and a half long.
And all they have to do is go down to Top Pizza tonight and video some Battle of the Bastards thing. Who's my daddy?
Have the clue, you know? No.
Oh, fuck
yeah, fucking but yeah, between that and fucking Game of Thrones, man, April is going to be a serious month next year, man, because that's when the new Avengers is out and that's when Game of Thrones starts.
Nice. Yeah, I like a bit of Game of Thrones now. Not just for the nudity, I like other stuff as well. The Captain Marvel trailer dropped this week as well. Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Never heard of him now.
I tell you, I say you were up.
Whoa.
The way he's been talking, I say he
projected a gender onto Captain America.
I say he mourned Stan Lee there 2 weeks ago, did you?
Fucking right now, I did, man. Man's a legend, man. I can get a Deadpool t-shirt on underneath me, man. I love it. My missus said to me, Rob's going out dressed in superhero fucking t-shirts. Will you cop on? I was like, no, fuck off.
But what if something happens?
I said, yeah, what if something happens?
I need to rip off this hoodie.
Does he use it in other aspects of his life.
He has the mask and all.
That's why I have the Wolverine claw.
He must be the only man. He must be the only man at Comic-Con with a woman.
Shoots
He
the
only
Spider-Man
goes-
web.
Yeah. He only goes to make them all jealous.
Fucking man, I tell you, one for you. Google the women of Comic Con. You're joking about women.
See the cosplay stuff, man.
My
Oh,
God,
Christ on that bike.
some of the hottest women you've ever seen in their life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
you know why
these
they
are
go,
all,
don't
they're
you?
just there to make money. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but another reason is they know these geeks are
Yeah.
going to be the ones who are going to be making the money. So
Yeah, of course. And they pay. People pay to take photos with them and all that.
Look at
Wonder
that.
Woman. Da. My first crush, Wonder Woman. Loved her
the pair
back
of
in the
legs on
day,
her,
man.
was she fucking-
Linda Carter, wasn't it?
Some Barbara.
Ooh, she was fucking gorgeous, man.
Kickstarter
The
combine
original,
harvest on that one.
All the men dinner, they're wonder what a woman feels like.
Most of them have enough money to pay to find out.
I said it all.
That did you see this as well about Russia apparently are planning on going to the moon now, and they said that they're going to check if the US were actually there.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Go on, Putin, you madman.
See if you can
I'd
get
love
something
to
about that,
see it.
Mikey.
Go on, Mikey. I'd love
That
to
was
see
the heading.
him,
Like I thought that was hilarious because the heading wasn't like Russia planning on going to the moon. The heading was like Russia to check if the US actually visited the moon. that was the thing. Like.
I'd love
I
for him
was
to
like-
prove I'm wrong. Would you?
Imagine them going there and coming back and be like, no American flag up there, no
Yeah.
signs of anything. The boys were telling lies. But then, like, how?
It would be easy to fake that in its own respect if they're talking about a fake moon, and then they just, you know what I mean? Get a fucking camera with a good zoom and no one up there, lads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Man, I tell you,
Nah,
I'd
fuck
love
that.
if they proved I'm wrong. You know that?
I know, yeah. But how do it? Like, they'd have to land in the exact same part of the moon that they landed
they
on,
would, yeah.
because they can't really go up there and explore the whole moon. Like, what
No,
size
they
is
would.
it?
They would.
you ever heard the
Right.
conspiracy theory that the reason the Yanks have never gone back, and the reason no one like there was this whole space race, the race to the moon and all that, and the reason they've never gone back is because what's on the dark side of the moon told them not to fucking come back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Transformers.
I don't know what the fuck it is, but
Aye.
Go home.
If one thing I'd like for that to happen is because if they pulled them up on that bullshit, then did America be pulled up on all their other bullshit
Do you
over
not
the
believe
years?
it?
you know?
What you mean? Like, do you not believe they actually went?
No.
I don't believe it.
No,
I
I
think
don't.
they did.
I don't
I
believe
don't.
it for a second,
I
man.
don't know, man. I think they did.
I do
Because-
not believe that for 1 second, boy.
For one reason.
Even now, I think it'd be hard to
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
But then again, does the moon even exist? I don't know.
Oh, here
I
we
mean-
go.
Do we even
Here
exist?
we go.
Am I even really here right now?
Oh man, I don't know. There's a lot of it. Do you know what I'm gonna have to do as well, man? This flat Earth shit. I'm gonna have to actually sit down and watch a load of like YouTube videos on it and figure out exactly what all their stuff is, and then some night will come on and I'll just play devil's advocate. Basically, I'll say I'm a flat earther and you can debate me, and I'll see if I can have all the answers that they have, just to see
how do you
just to
know
see how
what I'm
ridiculous it
for?
gets or how interesting it
How
gets.
do you know what I'm for or against?
No, we'll just play it that way. We'll play that I'm a flat earther and you're saying you're a fucking idiot. What are you talking about? What about this? And then I'll have the answers.
But that can be that can literally be the entire argument from, you know, if you're going to play devil's advocate, you're a fucking idiot. What are you talking about? You're a fucking idiot. What are you talking about? You're flat, you're a fucking idiot. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Did you come off your meds? Fucking hell, man.
I don't know, man. It's a weird one, that flat earth, boy.
They did find wind on Mars. With a
Wind?
ghost. Yeah. Did you see the NASA fucking thing? Oh, actually, as you're talking about flat earthers, they went bananas about this as well. So they, I can't remember the name of it now, but their probe landed on Mars, and the first photo it took showed a completely flat plane. So they were like, "No, Mars is flat as well." Swear to God, the first
Listen,
photo.
At the end of the day,
machine-
they're just looking for attention for one reason. You can see every other planet in our solar system is round. You know, and we're all lined in one way, aren't we? I'm not big into this fucking astro shit now.
we're
I'm
all-
waiting for you to
orbit
back
the-
me
we
up
orbit
here.
the sun.
We're all there.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
the sun.
Yeah.
and the moon
So,
orbits us
What is it? What's their,
counterclockwise.
what is their boggle? That's what I need to know.
I don't know, man. It's crazy shit. But like, I don't know. What really puzzles me is when you look into like ancient Egypt and shit like that, how they had all of this figured out. They knew exactly what was out there, like, in space. They
aliens
had
told
it
them.
all lined up, like.
The aliens told them.
Not only that, they knew the exact distance from Earth to the Moon, from Earth to the Sun, from Earth to all these other planets. They knew about all these
It's mad,
planets that
isn't
were
it?
way out there,
When
like.
Galileo was who invented the
This is before the telescope, like,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. You know, then Isaac Newton modified it, the telescope, where they could see even more into the space and that, like, you know. But how
Yeah.
did they know 2,000 years before that?
Yeah, thousands and thousands of years
Even-
before that.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, like some of these things, man, like no one really knows what the fuck went on in Egypt back in the day. It's one of
Yeah.
the most fascinating. It's probably
It
the
is.
most fascinating part
Do
of
you
the
know
world.
what I was
like.
watching last night? No, the terracotta army in China.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
And
yeah,
then, he believed that all the spirit in the spirit world that
But what was that again? Did he actually encase people in that terracotta,
no,
or they were just like figurines?
replicas of
Yeah.
all these army.
Yeah, yeah.
Even others, they're still digging up, but they have to take their time.
Yeah.
So they're
Terracotta.
going to discover mad things here. But he believed apparently in the spirit world that his enemies could take revenge on him. So he wanted his army with him
Yeah,
in his tomb, you know.
That's a recurring theme as well throughout all of these ancient civilizations, man. You see the fucking Egyptians, they had a whole protocol for the afterlife, like they had everything planned out for, like, when you die, this is what you have to do. Do you know what I mean? They had the whole thing where you get on a little ship and all this, a little boat thing, and you go across the
that way
water
they-
and you meet your man and you have to pay him,
pay
so
the
they give you
toll.
coins and all, and fucking the whole, like, you're like, where did they get this shit from? Like, they were definitely fucking around with DMT and shit like that back then as well. They were mad into that shit, like, oh, they were, like, 100%, like. But that's where all that shit started. Then all these esoteric teaching schools and the Illuminati came out of it and all that kind of shit, like.
So the Vikings used to do when they buried the dead, they'd put them on a boat and they'd float
Yeah,
them out.
they'd
and
fire
go
an
to
arrow at 'em.
Valhalla was the gateway through the water or whatever.
My young fella says to me the other day, he says, Daddy says, do you know what the Illuminati looks like? I was like, what do you mean? Do you know what he looks like? I was like, it's not one person. No, he is, Dad. He's a triangle with an eye.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's not, pal. He's not.
Yes.
That-
They're all
Way
ancient
garlic.
Egyptian
But
symbols,
they
like.
started, the Illuminati started because science had to go underground
That's right, Joe.
from the Catholic Church. That's why
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
started.
the Illuminati
Like,
is Latin
could you
for the enlightened
imagine?
ones, isn't it?
But think of this.
Alchemy was a big thing back then.
Exactly. But see, I'll get back to alchemy, but you see, the Illuminati and all that, look at the progress we would have in science if they didn't have to go underground back
Yeah,
then.
church
Do you
didn't
know what
like
I mean?
it.
But see, alchemy, man, with alchemists, like Isaac Newton was one, it just goes to show that even the cleverest of people can be fucking fools. You know that?
Why?
Because alchemy, they believed that they could turn liquids into gold and all that.
This is the thing, that
Do you know
there's
what
an
I mean?
awful lot of shit misunderstood about alchemy, and most people don't know what the fuck alchemy actually is. It's very hard to even
That's where
get
the
your head around
Philosopher's
it.
Stone story comes out
Yeah,
of it.
yeah,
like,
that's the elixir of life, the
Exactly.
eternal life and all of that. But like alchemy, like people thought it was like, because of the name, it's like chemistry or something. It wasn't. Like the original name was Alkemet. Kemet was the old name for Egypt, so Alkemet meant out of Egypt. Kemet meant the black lands, because back then, like, Egypt had really dark soil.
Yeah.
So it was called the black lands, basically, or black soil. And then when they saw people doing stuff like in alchemy, or alchemet as it was called, they started to say, like, Jesus, this is some kind of magic, that magic from the black lands, and that's where black magic came from. So there was all this weird shit around it. But that all of that stuff that they were talking about, it was all supposedly metaphor. They weren't literally, it was turning lead into gold was the thing that they always talked about.
Yeah.
But that was all metaphor, apparently. They weren't actually talking about taking a piece of lead and turning that into gold. It was more about working on yourself, achieving enlightenment,
No,
and
yeah.
turning your lead into
no,
gold.
that's other people.
That kind of shit.
They believed they were going to find the fountain of youth.
Oh yeah, but that's
Do you
the
know what I
thing.
mean?
Yeah,
That's what they
apparently
thought.
that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to make this thing, and like back then, all the kings had alchemists that worked
Yeah.
closely with them, and he'd hide them away and shit
Yeah.
in their castle, like,
Yeah.
and no one was allowed to talk to them and all that. Like,
Exactly.
I was watching a documentary there a while back about the Fountain of Youth. It was this pirate fella, and he went and he was going to try find it, and they were trying to like make a mermaid cry, and it was a brilliant documentary. No, sorry, oh no, wait, that was Pirates of the Caribbean.
I thought that was Indiana Jones.
what? Just look up this, Mikey. Alchemical picture or whatever. You see these alchemical pictures from back in the day, the way they used to communicate
but
with each
why
other.
did they do it in secret? They couldn't let people know they were doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
That's
mean?
why they did it in
Probably
secret.
Yeah,
because
no,
of
because people would have just said to him, "You're fucking mad. Go away."
But
you know
obviously
what I
it's
mean?
knowledge. Like, people always try to hide knowledge. Do you know what I mean? So like I said, the kings would have had alchemists working on shit.
Yeah,
like,
but
look
why do you
at
think
these.
they hid him away?
Because they
they
don't want
would have
people
been,
to know.
Yeah, they would have been dubbed the Mad King like a lot of
Nah.
others.
there's a lot to it, man. There's still people practicing alchemy today. Like
If
most
a
people don't know.
person-
Yeah, he's off again. No,
listen,
I don't care. I
if
don't
a
care.
person thinks they can cheat time itself, then they're fucking mad. Simple as.
Well, you don't know that.
It goes back to that whole time traveller thing, doesn't it?
No, not
No,
even
but
that.
like,
not even
to
traveling.
live forever.
To live forever, like that's
Yeah, no, you're
cheating
not gonna do
time.
that.
Nobody can do that.
You never know, man. Like, look at these. Look at this shit. Just open one of those. Look at that. Like, that's like an alchemical fucking design. Like an alchemist now would read that and know what it means.
Yeah,
Symbolism.
because they're
do you know?
all physics and
No, because they know like all of these things are all metaphors, like, do you know, and a lot of them are like basically like recipes on how to make certain potions and shit, and that'll describe how it's done. So they could have like the dragon eats the red apple or whatever, and that will be like the dragon will be some green potion that you mix with this red potion. This kind of shit, like fascinating when you see someone who knows about alchemy explain the meaning behind these
Never looked into
alchemical
it, to be
images.
honest about it.
Oh, it's mad shit.
Who did you listen to explain that?
CNN, bro. So I
CNN?
swear I get my news.
Fox, I thought.
No,
it was Fox.
man, I've been looking into shit like that for years. I just fascinated with
Do you know there's a chemist in town?
Oh, yeah,
It's called an alchemist. It's on.
I saw that.
Do you know
Yeah.
where Debenhams is?
Is it a
Across
chemist?
Down that
It's
way.
called the Alchemist, isn't it? I
Yeah.
don't think it's a chemist, though, is it?
I think.
Or is
no,
it a
they
chemist
give
belonging to a fella called
No,
Al?
they do
Probably.
all health food and all that. And
Yeah.
health remedies. And
Yeah, I think it's more of like
Yeah.
a health shop or something like that. It's called the
but it's-
Alchemist.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think like that was the whole thing behind alchemy. A lot of people say like that alchemy led on to science. Like that's how we have science now. That alchemy was where it started. Like, so you don't know because there's so much secrecy around it.
Did
And-
it have something to do with the scepter and the two snakes or something? Was that kind
Yeah,
of
like that's how all that kind of shit as well started. That's a weird one. Whenever you look at any chemist or anything got to do with pharmaceuticals or fucking medication or hospital, anything like that, you see the symbol. Like you've ever looked at it, like
Yeah, but obviously.
it's two fucking serpents
Yeah,
wrapped
around
around
it,
a
yeah.
staff.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck is that got to
But
do with?
obviously, when they were doing all these tests and research, they did come up, probably discover a lot of things that
Yeah.
we do use today. But
They
they
started
were
it off.
discovered for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter, man. No, it's a happy accident.
Hermes Trismegistus, that's the
Yeah.
man, is it?
Hermes
Mikey, how long are we
Trismegistus.
going? I want to talk about one thing before we finish
No,
up.
sorry, we're out of time, Russell.
Are we?
Sickler.
Oh, the
next week.
story of my life, isn't it?
Go on.
No, but that one. The one who married the pirate girl.
Oh, it's all off.
sake.
Yeah, it's all off.
Fucking hell. Shit.
It's over.
Put her up there, Mikey. I tell you one thing. I think this is hilarious.
You could say he ghosted her.
She called him a
But-
hollow. She called him a hollow cunt and fucked off.
I heard she's already telling all their friends that he had a small one. She couldn't feel him at all.
Yeah. Felt nothing.
She's going to tell the judge he was never around.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Just felt like he was never present in the relationship. She's going to try to take a few quid off him now as well.
Yeah, I heard she hired a private investigator to find all his buried treasure.
Take all his booty.
Yeah.
The headline is, wait, what? Irish woman reportedly divorces 300-year-old ghost pirate.
Oh, fucking
I think it's just a case of, like you said earlier on, man, all the talk about it has died down, so now she's off again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
People
Yeah,
have
first
just
time it's
accepted
talking
it.
about it,
And
yeah.
just
First
she,
it was like, I'm marrying a ghost, and everyone was like, what? And then that died down a bit, and then she came out with like, this is how you have sex with ghosts.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what? And then now she's like, no, we're getting a divorce. And everyone's like, okay, we don't get her anymore.
I heard she's fighting for the parrot in the custody battle.
Yeah, he was a
And
pirate,
even though
actually,
he's
yeah.
imaginary, he doesn't want to go over there. Fuck off, what? You fucking psycho.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. It's gas. Like she got friends to go to
I
her
know.
wedding and all. Like, and
They
they're all,
enabled that. I was saying that you coming
Yeah,
out the road
they
now,
fucking
Mikey.
did, man. They
They
did.
enabled it, and I can't
Do
understand
you know
that.
when this whole shit was going on about the priest marrying him and all that? I'd love to have been there just to hear how much of the...
Yeah, the
yeah.
priest
Going
was
on in
getting
the
a nice
background.
little backhander. He didn't care.
Especially like
of the
how
ghost.
could he do your man's side? Like, do you
There's
know
your
what I
man
mean?
from the documentary in the Fountain of Youth.
That's true. How could he get
Captain
his
Jack
consent?
Spanner.
His job.
That's
You
what I
know.
said the last time. Like, doesn't have to be consent on both sides. Like, so how can you fucking? I don't know. Stupidity. Like, but like when he was actually performing the ceremony, he was like, "Do you, whatever her fucking name is, take this? We'll pretend he's here. This fucking ghost." Like,
No,
and
did
she's like, "Yeah, I do." And
Did a
then
bucket of steam.
yeah,
What did I want?
and like he couldn't then turn to the ghost and say, "Do you?" And be like, "Yeah, I think he said yeah."
So
Waiting for a response. She's gone.
what you said, Mikey, even a ghost, an imaginary ghost was sweating
Exactly.
fucking marrying her.
It's madness. Man.
Fucking
You
lunatic.
got to think who's going to take her on now, like. Because, you know, there'd be, you know, like, you kind of get exes get involved with their current partners.
Did Johnny
new
Cochran
relationship
die?
and stuff.
Maybe
That's
a
not something
vampire.
you want to be fucking lying down in bed like next to her some night and her ex comes in and starts tearing the sheets off the bed.
Aye.
Like, what the fuck?
Didn't Johnny Cochran die recently?
Huh?
Johnny Cochran, didn't he die recently?
No idea who that
He
is.
could get him to represent him in
He's
the
the
spirit
lawyer.
world.
Oh, that's Johnny Cochran, yeah. Yeah, if you hire him, you look guilty. He's like, I'd rather look guilty at home than look innocent in prison. Fuck's sake.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, but like, what did you make of that? Did you see that they wanted to remove the big Amsterdam sign? Do you know the big famous Amsterdam sign
Yeah,
that everyone
yeah,
takes
yeah,
photos
yeah,
by?
yeah.
It's just big, huge letters, Amsterdam, for anyone that hasn't seen it. It's just out in the street. Like,
And how is
Look,
it offensive?
it's not even offensive.
Getting rid of a sign isn't going to stop people going there. What they need to do,
Yeah.
if they want to stop people going there, close the fucking weed shops,
Yeah.
close the knocking shops, and the tourism will soon dry fucking
There's
up.
my holiday
This is
fucked,
it.
I know.
Do you know what? That's like they created this big tourism spot. Like, they actually took it away, did they?
They didn't.
Iconic.
They
I
did,
am.
no, they didn't. They took it away.
I am Amsterdam sign removed from Dutch capital over complaints.
Ah, for fuck's sake, man.
I don't know, man. See, like, they're saying now, like, that they don't want so many tourists going over there, but you've created this monster, like, and like, I hate to break it to your man, but they're not going there for that fucking sign, like.
I tell you,
so
I find
that will change nothing.
I find the welcome to Limerick sign very offensive now. I think we're going to have to fight to have that removed as well.
Don't want any more people
Avoid
coming
the
here.
cave.
We're full.
But that's what they're saying.
I
How is
don't
it
know.
offensive?
Unless no, it's just that particular part of the city that there's too many people flooding into that little spot where that is. Maybe that's it, but I don't know. The way
It's
they
over
frame these
complaints.
things.
No, it's not over
Yeah.
the fucking pussy parade getting on their fucking high horse.
But it is.
Is it?
It's too many people complaining like about too many people.
What can you
Fucking hell.
what can you find offensive about a sign that says I am Amsterdam? Or why
Yeah, it's not.
I
It's not. It's not in
don't see
You
what
can't identify as Amsterdam.
Who are you to?
I think you'll
I
find
see.
I can identify whatever I want.
I know.
No,
Did
fucking
you just assume my geographical location?
Yeah.
I don't
Cheeky.
identify as being here.
No.
Did you see
no.
that? Did you see that one during the week about a manhunt was called off for a serial killer because of the use of the word men in manhunt.
Oh yeah, that was Waterford Whispers, wasn't it? Waterford Whispers is like.
I did see that a lot.
Oh no, I said what was it again? Oh, they called it Jesus Christ, they called it something else. They said that's gonna fucking drive me
It was a
mad now.
manhunt for a serial killer called off.
No, they said the Gardaí are involved in a vicious chase or something for a serial killer because the term manhunt might be deemed might be deemed offensive. So they just called it something else. I can't fucking remember what it was now.
It's fucking mad.
Something about a chase or something anyway, yeah. But there's too much of it, man. There's just people need to stop paying attention to these fools, like. It's as simple as that. I don't know why they keep bending over to them, like. There's another thing, actually, they're talking about now. And again, this is probably now a stupid Irish politician that came out with this, but they're talking about renaming Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital because, like, having Our Lady of Lourdes in there might offend non-Irish and non-Catholic people. Do you know what I mean? Like, these now are just, like, and people now will start snapping at they're snapping at fucking foreigners saying, oh, fuck you, if you don't like it, go back to where you came from. But they didn't even say anything.
You
It's
know,
the
all they're
stupid
doing-
politicians that are looking around for
Yeah.
something that might be offensive.
And what did
Oh,
they
we'll
create?
change that.
They're creating in far right thinking.
Creating a job for themselves is all they're
Yeah,
doing.
but
Look
they're
at what I'm
create-
doing over here.
But look
I'm being
what it's
so
gonna
progressive.
start. It's going to start in far right thinking. Who would they to come into our
Yeah.
country? They're already in here doing this.
Exactly.
They know what they're doing.
No
They
need
know
of it,
what
man.
they're doing.
Like, do you know what's fucked up, actually? Like, there's very little talk about it. This migration pact that's been signed apparently on Wednesday in Marrakesh. Have you heard about this shit?
I actually haven't.
Apparently, we're fucking been signed into it anyway, and no one has told us a thing about it.
What's this now?
It's fucked up, man, the way it sounds. All these countries in the UN are all meeting in Marrakesh and they're signing this new migration pact where they're all agreeing to take in more and more immigrants or whatever, right? And not only that, then there's all these new little laws and shit being written where they're making it illegal now to badmouth immigration or migration or whatever way you want it. So basically, like, if just say if RTE fucking published a story that, like, oh, there's too many people coming over here, they can shut them down for doing that.
No, fuck.
If this
RT's
law
not-
goes through.
We all know RT's not going to say that.
Yeah,
All RT's
exactly,
going to
yeah.
do is put up all this PC shit to deflect us from the real shit that's going on.
It's
Do
a
you
weird
not
one,
see
man.
that?
Yeah.
That's what it
heard
is.
That's what they do the whole time. I said that.
Speaking of fucking mass deflection, is anyone hearing much about what's going on in Paris?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're saying that's what I heard. That's what those riots are about.
It is
Because they're putting it on the news that they're all rioting over in France now because of the price of petrol or whatever.
It is,
and then people online are saying that's not about the price of petrol. Like it's a bit of an extreme reaction to the price of petrol. They're fucking burning the place down over there. People are saying it's because the French president or whatever has agreed to go and sign this migration pact as well. No one said anything to any of us. Like, how is it we don't get a vote in this? They're talking about taking in another 1 million people into this tiny little fucking drop in the ocean that we live on. Like, do you know what I mean? 1 million people over the next... How many people is that going to become like? But over the next 20 years or something, 1 million people. If they take in 50,000 this year, next year, that first 50,000 could have had 10,000 babies. Yeah. And then they're taking in another 50,000. It's just like, where the fuck are you going to keep? Doing? And yet, we can't house our own people, like, but they're taking in more.
And yet, we're paying in for America's and Britain's sins of going into these Middle Eastern
That's
countries.
The thing as well that always bothers me. The Americans and those lads that caused this shit, let them sort it out.
At the end of the day...
And they've, by the way, they've refused to sign this migration pact. Yeah. Australia has refused. The UK has refused. Do you know what I mean? And there's Irish Taoiseach fucking off over to sign it.
Yeah. Know what I mean?
Man, I'm telling you, it's so ridiculous. Like,
look, if we had the resources to take them in, I'd say,
exactly.
well and good.
That's
well
the main
and
point.
Good.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say bring them in because I think it'd be a great thing to do. But when you're bringing them in and we haven't the resources to we haven't even got them to take care of our own.
Yeah. I have friends
the promise of a good national football team in a few years just isn't good enough.
Yeah. Man, I've no it's something to be proud of. It's something to be proud of when you can take people in who need help and you can give them a better life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's great. Like if you can do that, but like when you can't,
the people that already live here even more, man, it's fucked.
This place is already fucked as it is. Like there isn't enough houses. We've people dying in the streets. It's like I don't know, man. Like how can you keep taking in more people? I just don't
are
get
they going
to
build the social housing that's needed? And then
as well, I don't like as well the fact that like rename, even though I'm not religious or whatever, like rename the Lady Lords because it might offend foreigners coming here. Like fuck that. We're like they do not realise that they're eroding our own culture to please other people. They're not going to do that for you if you go to their country. Why? Do you know what I mean? And this is Irish politicians now that are going out of their way to find these things and bring it up. Like
the big question is, how much are these Irish politicians getting off of Europe for taking in these immigrants?
You can be sure that's the only reason they're doing it. Exactly. They're not looking down the line at all. They don't give a fuck.
Money, it's basically like human trafficking. So
exactly.
You're on the ball, Mikey. Yeah.
It's the same with all of that, man. Do you know what I mean? Like that's like you said. If they're being paid to take these people over and blah blah blah, they're basically like buying and selling people there, and just fucking them in and whatever after that. They don't really care.
Exactly. And what they're going to do then? Start hate and resentment amongst the Irish population. Then they're going to see these people coming in. Resources are going to be stretched, and people are going to get resentful. And in some cases, they have a right to be.
Does anyone not think France generally has the right idea? Like when I was only talking about this the other day, when they I think they either raised or dropped the retirement age, and the country lost its fucking shit and just shut down.
Yeah.
Until they reversed it.
Yeah, exactly. They
all just stopped. Like they fucking stopped.
People take the piss out of the French. I think there's always that piss take about the French will just surrender, don't worry about it. Because of back in the day or whatever, like they always take the piss out of them saying that they're weak and they just surrender. All that kind of shit.
So
like
they've a lot to live up for.
Yeah, I think they probably heard that and were like, we're not lying down for nothing anymore. Like I love their attitude. Like the government does something they don't like, they go out in force and they'll burn the place to the ground. And they won't stop until they get what they want. Like that's the way it should be. The government should fear the people. It's as simple as that. Like not the other way around.
Did you ever hear Russell Brand going on about the Belgian dinosaur? Did you ever hear that? When he's talking about if you ask the dinosaur, like he said, what is a country? A country is basically only a concept. It's imaginary lines between two pieces of land. He said if you go back to prehistoric times and talk to a dinosaur, the dinosaur wouldn't say to you, I'm a Belgian dinosaur. You know, he would just say, so he basically said, if your country isn't working for you, get rid of it. Simple as that. That seems to be the idea that the fucking, that the French have adopted. Like, I don't know. I mean, look, I'd be the first to admit I don't know the total ins and outs about what's going on there at the moment, but I do know that when shit happens that the people as a whole don't agree with, they grind the fucking place to a halt. Like.
Yeah. And that's the only way to do it.
They hurt them in their pockets, like,
Yeah, that's the
because
only
as
way
that
to
whole
do it.
economy stops, people stop going to work for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And fuel isn't bought. Fucking, you know, tax isn't fucking generated on a few days.
Prisons are overcrowded because they're arresting hundreds and hundreds of them. Like,
yeah, it does. Like,
But look,
they mince their own economy. Like,
we
fucking,
proved the point tonight. We talked on about the PC shit going on before we even talked about this. So that just goes to show people are out there more worried about
exactly,
about all
bullshit,
that than
we
us
all are.
done,
And they do a great job of keeping you distracted as well.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's what it is like.
They do.
And RT are brilliant
We
at
should
it. I
all be
won't
worried
watch that
about this
shit anymore.
nonsense.
I was watching RT a few weeks ago. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. All
You're
about
talking
him.
about RTE.
RTE,
now,
yeah.
Yeah.
Radio television
Yeah,
sharing.
but there's
What a
RT.
tripe.
Russia Today.
But
is
here's the
RT.
point I'll make.
Like, they're good. Like,
They're
do you never watch
brilliant.
RT?
Oh, RT. Sorry, I thought you said
RT.
RTE.
But leave me make my point.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Our own national news all along was on about Trump and America. Then next minute, at the end of the news, for 5 seconds, Irish politician had his charges overturned for corruption. That should have been us as a nation. That should have been our first story. 5 seconds should have been only given to what's going on in America. Because why should we give a fuck what's going on thousands of miles away? Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
And see the way it was all set up with him as well. He was caught for taking bribes. But then he got the highest sentence ever to be given to a politician in Ireland for bribery charges. And then he appealed it and it was overturned on some technicality. You don't think that was all set up in that way?
Yeah.
You
So,
know,
yeah, look, we've convicted him now, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Then it all dies
Then
down.
all
and
of a
then
sudden then he
just
doesn't
gets
do
it.
1 day in jail.
Yeah.
Because he appealed
Bollocks.
his conviction and then got it overturned.
That's it. Don't be distracted out there, people.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on the ball.
Exactly.
Sheeple.
Exactly. Yeah, the
Sheeple.
sheeple, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking keep an eye on them, man. They need to be checked with this shit, like 100%. Like I can't believe they're doing this without telling anyone. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? They're doing something that's going to affect every single one of us in some
Our
way or
lives
another.
don't
Look at
matter.
that.
We should at least have a discussion
Our
about
lives
it.
don't
Look at
matter,
that,
you see.
1,700 people detained across France.
Yeah.
1,700,
Good on you, French.
1,700 fucking people.
Keep fucking burning the place down.
I think
Fuck 'em.
somebody-
Alella France, anyway. That's fucking... Tell you, man, they have the right idea. They really do, like.
If somebody can word it right with the right rhetoric to people out here in Ireland and point it all out to them, what's really going on, maybe they will wake the fuck up. But no, they're all too worried about what's going on at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Spending money
exactly,
they don't
man.
have.
The way life is
you
set
know,
up these days,
yeah.
like the whole thing is a fucking distraction.
And
Like
that's
all you're doing is working and paying bills and
that's the
sleeping and working. And
neoliberalism,
then
man.
you hear about this shit going on, you're like, I don't really have time now.
Exactly.
I'm exhausted. You know? It's fucked up. Like,
Did you read up on neoliberalism and all that?
not a lot, no.
Yeah, I tell you, man, it's weird. I think you'd really want to have a PhD to really understand it. But I think like a lot of it is so obvious in front of you today. You know, like supermarkets throwing out food that's gone off. And like, say, McDonald's, you'd say, what did they do with the burgers? They fucked them in the bin. Why don't they go out and give them to the homeless? No, they can't, because that's neoliberalism. It gets thrown in the bin. It's all about profit. Everything then is privatised. Even our child protection family agency in Ireland's private. It's not the HSE anymore. It's Tulsa.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Everything is, man. It's
Everything.
ridiculous.
The hospitals. You know, it's...
How long are we gone, Mikey?
Boys, we are going way over time here.
What is it?
20 minutes over time.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Lads, we're some boys to talk shit. Yeah, we'll have to come back to...
It's too political, that's why.
Get fired up. Yeah, we'll have to come back to a few of those things, like, but yeah, I would say for anyone fucking listening, man, have a look at that migration pact thing and see, because I don't really understand it. Maybe some people out there might understand it. Post some shit about it online or something, because no one's saying anything about it. It's fucking weird, like. But
you have a voice.
Yeah.
That's all you need to
Exactly.
No one's going to worry about that, but we'll all get up in arms about faggot in fairy tale.
Yeah, exactly,
Get
yeah.
your fucking
Because
priority.
I'm
And if
sure I'm
anyone
going to
out
call
there-
the chief 5 times before the night's out, I know.
if
Only a few, hon.
if anyone out there has anything that they want us to talk about, feel free to get in touch.
Yeah.
PM us, hon, XO, and just do you know
You
what I
okay,
mean?
hon?
If they know something about what we're talking about tonight that they want us to fucking talk about, and you can share that online, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Get in touch. There's no hassle. And cheers for listening. Cheers for sharing. I have to do a bit of a talk about the audience next week, because I realised I was reading the analytics completely wrong. The audience is way fucking bigger than I realised.
Well,
freaked myself out a small bit. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like we've had listeners at this stage in just about every single country you can imagine in the world.
Go ahead.
I defy you to name one where we don't have one. Like
Uganda.
it's crazy.
Bangladesh.
Marrakesh.
Yeah, all of them, yeah, all of them. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy, man. The internet is so weird. Like there's just paddies everywhere. I'm guessing it's all Irish people, like
Are we
all
still
over
going?
the place. Yeah.
We are
So,
also,
yeah.
this is called Celtic Crack Overtime.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think I did this.
Podcast extra.
Well, look, if they complain about us not doing episodes the last 2 weeks,
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a
make up for it.
there's a makeup thing.
Make
like,
up
you
for
know.
it a little bit at least, anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. So, lads, wherever you're listening to this, please like it, subscribe it, leave a review. Actually, we're just there's a lot of shit I need to go. We've got more reviews as well. People taking a piss out of us a small bit on iTunes, but yeah, no, it was all good though. It's grand.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll go over that next week. Sure. I suppose we'll leave it there then. Subscribe, like, share, tell your grandmother.
Yeah.
And don't eat yellow snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.